The year was 1916. Woodrow Wilson was president. Joseph Bell was the mayor of Indianapolis. A car cost $400, and you could buy a house for about $5,000. Eddie Rickenbacker lost the sixth running of the Indianapolis 500 to Dario Resta. Europe was at war. The U.S. would join the Great War 1 year later. And on August 17, 1916, the Kiwanis Club of Indianapolis was chartered. These are some of the stories of our first 100 years.
Our mission will always be children, and there will always be a need. There is a need, there always will be a need. The children in our community first, but the children around the world.
No individual citizen can do all the things that a group of citizens can do when they agree to embrace the same values.
Indiana State Basketball Finals Luncheon. It's been going on since 1946. It was started by one of our Earl Blakely.
What we do here, we try to go beyond basketball. It's not just about sports. We honor student scholars with scholarships that we award every year, and those are provided by the Kiwanis Club Foundation of the Kiwanis Club of Indianapolis. So we do that, but we also want to inspire people that basketball is a team sport, and there is no I in team, and we want people to be inspired by what good things we can do by working together, and that's what Kiwanis is all about, is leadership development and people following through with their promises.
So I've never met a Kiwanian I didn't like, and I've met a lot of them throughout the world.
In 1975, Dr. Robert Briggs called together 5 people over at his house, and we sat around the coffee table with a bottle of vodka in the middle and came up with the original concept of the Kiwanis Abe Lincoln Scholarship Awards.
These are people who they've battled their way through to get to where they are, and you just feel such an amazing amount of awe at what they've been able to accomplish.
Some of them have had to work along with going to high school. Some of them have had very serious medical problems. We've had, I'd say, a half a dozen over the years that were given the scholarships and ended up dying before they could use them.
When the luncheon is over, we go away thinking, wow. But for them, if you have a muscular dystrophy or whatever, it doesn't go away. Or if you've been abused and come from a broken home, the effects of that are long lasting.
The first 2 or 3 years was rather Spartan, but the last years, of course, we're giving, as we speak, around $41,000, and we are honoring at least 25 students, where before sometimes there'd only be 4 or 5.
I think all of them are outstanding in their own stories and in their own endeavors in going into college.
The record would reflect, of course, that I was the first woman who was selected for Kiwanis. I was able to look back a lot at that male-dominated group, and really what I saw was a great receptivity by the group to include me and to welcome me and make me feel like I was an important part of it. And they always made me feel that. We laughed and laughed and laughed on many occasions as we'd make jokes with each other and tease each other.
Very early on, when I came to a meeting, I got here kind of late, and the room was pretty much full, but there was one table that had a seat. And before I even thought, I just said, "Is this seat taken?" And I sat down. Well, I found out, much to my surprise, that that was a long-time sacred cow at the Kiwanis Club. It was called the culture table, and it was only men. And many of these were men who were not receptive to women joining Kiwanis at all, and I had sat down at their table. Well, it was kind of funny because they were wonderful, very polite, and we had wonderful conversation. And what delighted me was, even after I found out that I had kind of erred in a way, done a boo-boo, they kept asking me to come back and sit with them.
I think the language and the social mores have probably changed considerably, as they did in everything. I also think it's been very good for diversity in all ways.
You know, the wonderful thing about Kiwanis is the impact that it has on the community. And that lines up very well with the focus on community service that millennials have, for example. The American culture is to take care of our communities, to volunteer, to be involved. And I see it as an opportunity to bring the two together.
Because of the focus on serving our young people, you know, we have to provide role models. We've got to provide service in our community to make a difference in the lives of children, particularly those who don't have perhaps mentors or family members of their own that can help them. This is a wonderful organization and a wonderful club here in Indianapolis because there's such a variety in the different areas of service that we provide for young people in our community.
Kiwanis means a lot to me. I could never give back what it has given to me.
We used to be the largest club in the world with over 500 members. We used to have 100 to 200 people at meetings. But I think the commitment level may be higher because people really have to make a commitment to come. They really have to make the time. They have to go out of their way. So I think in some ways the club is really stronger for its mission.
Looking back at our past, it's obvious that Kiwanis has effectively adapted to changing times, while remaining focused on serving the children of our community and the world. I look forward to beginning the next 100 years.